Okay, we're on the record. This is the People versus Carlos Lorenzo Durham. Case number 2259974. Count one. Only count one. Police officer resisting and obstructing. This is a habitual offender court offense notice. And also case number 2258771. People versus Carlos Durham. Mr. Durham is charged on this case with count one, weapons, firearms, possession by a felon. Count two, weapons, felony firearm. Count three, weapons, ammunition, possession by a felon. Count four, weapons, felony firearm. Count five, carrying concealed. Count six, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing. And this is a habitual offender fourth offense notice.
We're heading back to the 36th District Court in Michigan, where Carlos of the family Durham continues his theatrical meltdown in front of a judge who clearly has no patience for sovereign citizen nonsense, and in this episode, we are witnessing back-to-back court appearances where Carlos faces a mountain of charges from weapon possession to assault on police, and all while claiming he is not who the court says he is. He walks in slow and steady, still clinging to the delusion that capital letters mean something legal, and that somehow his fake title gives him immunity from reality. As charges are read out, the courtroom tension rises, and his defense attorney Taylor Coleman tries her best to make the judge see reason, claiming he has family ties in Detroit and deserves personal bond with Tether, but the judge already knows what we all do, that Carlos is a flight risk, a serial no-show, and a walking talking parody of what courtroom decorum should be. And when the judge brings up his missed court date from December 14th, Carlos shrugs and blames it on being overwhelmed by the sheer number of court appearances scheduled for him. The courtroom watches in disbelief as this man, who believes he's above the law, claims he simply forgot his obligation to appear in front of a judge, even though he somehow remembered to appear on Zoom for other hearings this week. His lawyer insists it was a one-time mistake, but the record shows otherwise. Habitual absconder is the name, and bond violations are the game.
They set for a bond redetermination hearing. Appearances.
Alexander Kirker on behalf of the people, P86-282.
Good morning, Your Honor. Delusion Taylor Coleman, P56278 on behalf of Mr. Durham on both matters for bond redetermination.
And Mr. Durham, can you state your full name for the record, please?
Carlos Durham.
Thank you. And whenever you're ready, Attorney Taylor Coleman.
Yes, Your Honor. As the court has before it, I believe Mr. Durham has a capious with this court, or maybe it was with Judge Elise Bryant. At this point, we'd ask for any capiouses to be recalled. That he is a resident of Detroit. He has significant family contacts. I'm looking up his investigation report. I'm looking up the sheet from misdemeanor felony defenders on his behalf. Long story short, we're asking for a personal bond with Tether, and that he would reappear at all future court dates.
And just when you think Carlos has run out of surprises, he announces he works for himself, which honestly no one in that courtroom was buying, considering his consistent attendance at the Wayne County Jail. He even throws in a joke about being part of a fictional law firm, dumbass, as if that will somehow make the court laugh its way into granting him a lighter bond. The judge, however, remains composed, not buying any of the comedy routine, and instead sets the next probable cause conference for January 25th over Zoom, with a sharp reminder that if he misses it again, the court won't hesitate to tighten the leash. And while Carlos nods and agrees, you can feel the doubt hanging in the air like a heavy fog, because agreeing to appear is easy, showing up is another matter entirely. But the chaos doesn't stop there. 2 days later, Carlos is back again, this time louder, bolder, and even more disconnected from reality. He refuses to acknowledge the name on the charge sheet, claiming it's in all capital letters, and thus not him, declaring instead that he is flesh and blood and the paper represents a corporation he doesn't consent to represent. It sounds insane, because it is insane. The judge asks him to identify himself, and Carlos dives deep into sovereign citizen territory, spouting off nonsense about trade names, corporate fiction, and how he's not a United States citizen. And honestly, if this courtroom had a trap door, it would have opened right under him.
We could address the capious of December 14th, Mr. Durham.
I'm sorry, what did you ask him? I didn't hear the first part of your question.
Address the alleged, not alleged, the capious of December 14th of 2022.
Yes, go right ahead.
Mr. Durham, were you aware of that court date?
Yes, and kind of no. They bombarded me with a bunch of court dates, and I kind of might have forgot it because there's so many I got to go to.
Okay,
They
so
sent me about 40 different cards with court dates on them.
you essentially made up your court date.
I think so. I got court dates all the way to February, and I think I just missed it out.
Okay. Would you reappear at all future court dates, Mr. Durham?
Yes, I reappeared. I appeared before. I was on Zoom. I was on a tether. I came to court.
Okay. Your Honor, we believe that this was just a mistake, a one-time mistake. Mr. As the court can see in the register of action, Mr. Durham had appeared at previous court dates, but as he stated, because of the number of court dates, this one fell through the cracks, but he would reappear at all future court dates. These are non-assaultive crimes. We're asking for a personal bond, reinstate the bond with tether. Would the court consider any reduction at all? I don't know if Mr. Durham can post any amount of money. Was there a change in your bond before Judge Bryant, Mr. Durham?
So what? I didn't hear you.
Was there a change in your bond before Judge Bryant?
Yeah, it was a $10 bond. That's all it is. They said it's a $10 bond. I'm here to get this bond reduced so I can get out of jail.
And you have employment?
I work for myself.
He sits in jail and yet claims he's standing on the land, a man of sovereignty, above the court, above the law, above common sense, and when the judge asks if his lawyer wants to speak with him privately, she hesitates because she knows exactly what kind of circus awaits. Behind closed doors, Carlos keeps talking and talking and talking, unaware that he's burning what little goodwill remains. With every breath the case is read aloud again, a litany of weapon charges, police, assault, habitual offender status, and it only adds fuel to the fire of absurdity playing out in real time. And when the judge finally asks him again to confirm his name, Carlos responds with objection, a tactic that makes zero legal sense, but one he repeats over and over like a broken record, determined to reject every name, identity, and label presented to him until the judge herself has to remind everyone in the room that courtrooms don't operate on make-believe, and the prosecutor finally suggests what we're all thinking, a competency hearing, because either this man is truly lost or he's playing a very dangerous game to stall justice and delay consequences. And while his lawyer tries to keep the ship from sinking, Carlos does everything he can to punch holes in the hull, demanding the judge's name, the prosecutor's credentials, accusing everyone of violating his imaginary rights.
Okay, so I'm still going to keep it the same, Attorney Taylor Coleman. Because of the cases on both cases, I am going to wait until we get to the probable cause conference on the 25th with the DSU report to determine whether or not I'm inclined to reduce the charge. I need him to show the court for something because we're back at the probable cause conference. I want you to listen up very carefully. Your next court date is January 25th. That is a Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you'll be zooming in from the county jail, and you'll have an attorney present to discuss with you any matters before we go on the record, okay? So show up for that, well, you have to show up for that. Then your attorney then can possibly discuss something once we have a DSU report, okay? Attorney Taylor Coleman, anything from defense?
That's it. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you all both have a good one.
But the courtroom is not moved, not 1 inch. No one's buying what Carlos is selling anymore, and as the hearing drags on, it becomes obvious this is not just legal confusion, it's a complete detachment from reality, a performance. Maybe or a symptom of something deeper, but either way, the judge makes the right call by ordering a mental evaluation, and you can almost hear the sigh of relief in the room as that decision lands, because Carlos has turned what should have been a routine hearing into a one-man off-Broadway production of legal gibberish and self-inflicted humiliation. He claims he's not Mr. Carlos. He claims he's never been written in capital letters. He claims the court is conspiring with the prosecutor to violate his imaginary constitution, and every sentence he speaks digs him deeper into the hole of sovereign fantasy. It's not just cringe, it's a lesson in how not to represent yourself in front of a judge, because in the end, while Carlos fights a system he doesn't understand, that system continues to work just fine without his consent, and the more he resists, the stronger it presses back. And as the judge closes the hearing with a firm tone and a date for the next step, the viewers at home can only shake their heads in disbelief, knowing that this is not over and there's more chaos to come.
Okay, gentlemen, please come to jail who just sat down about 5 minutes ago. Can you state your name for the record, please?
My name?
Yes, your name.
My name is Carlos Lorenzo, and I'm here to represent the person you got on that paper, which is an all capital name, all capital letters. That's a corporation, and I'm not claiming to be him, but I'm here to represent him. All capital name is all corporation. I'm not a corporation, I'm not dead, I'm not a fictitious entity. So I'm not claiming to be whoever name you have on that paper, which is probably in all capital letters. That's not my name. It's two names in this court that sound exactly alike, and only one of them is mine. What name is on that paper y'all have over there? Is it in all capital letters? That's not my name, but it's my property. It's my trade name, and I own it. And I need to know if anybody has permission to use it from me. So do we have that understood? I am not a US citizen, and I'm not a citizen of the United States. And that's what I got you. Do you understand that? I'm not him. I'm claiming not to be him.
I just wanted to know who you were. Thank you. I had to check there. Attorney Simon, thank you. You want to speak to your client in private before we go on the record? Because he's still talking.
Sorry, Judge. Can you repeat that, please?
Do you want to speak to your client in private for a moment? Because he hasn't stopped talking for the last 10 minutes. He's still talking. He doesn't know he's on mute, but he's been talking.
I just saw him Monday at the jail, but okay.
Okay, because I don't think we can have his hearing unless he understands we all can't talk at the same time.
All right, I'll do a breakout.
Okay, we're on the record. This is People versus Carlos Lorenzo Durham, case 2259974. Mr. Lorenzo, Mr. Durham is charged with 1 count of police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing. This is a habitual offender forced offense notice. Also, case 2258771, People versus Carlos Lorenzo Durham. Mr. Durham is charged with count 1, weapons, firearms, possession by a felon. Count 2, weapons, stony firearm. Count 3, weapons, ammunition, possession by a felon. Count 4, weapons, stony firearm. Count 5, carrying concealed. Count 6, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing. This is a habitual offender. 4th offense notice. Today's the day set for a probable cause conference appearances.
Alexander Kirker on behalf of the people, P8628.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jonathan Simon, P35596 for Mr. to both matters.
And Mr. Durham, can you state your name, please?
Objection. I'm not a mister. I just told you that it's two names that sound exactly alike and only one of them is mine. My name has never been spelled in all capital letters, so that is not my name. Whatever name you have on that paper is a corporation and it does not exist. That's not who I am. I'm not.
What is your name?
I'm here to
sir?
represent him.
What is your name?
My name is Carlos. That's what I go by. My name is not Mr. and I never spelled it in all capital letters. I keep explaining that to y'all, but y'all insist I'm that dead entity on that piece of paper, and I'm not.
What is your last name?
What is your name, ma'am? Can I have your name and your oath of office, please? Did you take an oath upon the Constitution, ma'am? Or did you take an oath to violate my Constitution?
Attorney Simon, what I'm getting here is that Mr. Durham is not present.
Objection, I'm not a Mr.
I can enter a case because that's not Mr. Durham or.
Judge, maybe we could have a competency referral.
This courtroom saga is far from finished, and if there's one thing we've learned, it's that Carlos of the family Durham will not go quietly. His antics guarantee that every future court appearance will be another wild ride through delusion and defiance, and while the legal process is slow, it is steady, and it will not bend to the fantasies of someone who believes punctuation determines personhood. The judge has made it clear there will be no leniency, no mercy, and no tolerance for nonsense. His attorney is left juggling court dates, affidavits, and sovereign outbursts, all while the court prepares for a competency hearing that may finally bring some clarity to this circus, and viewers across the internet are watching this unfold in real time, learning just how deep the rabbit hole of legal denial can go. And while Carlos demands recognition as flesh and blood, the court only recognizes law and the fact is Carlos in deep trouble, not just with one judge, but with multiple cases mounting and more dates scheduled than he can keep track of. And as he shouts over the judge one last time, the only thing he proves is that he is not ready for freedom, he is not ready for responsibility, and he is definitely not ready for court. So stay tuned, because with Carlos around, the chaos is never far behind. So, if you want to see more chaos like this, hit that like button and subscribe, because we've got plenty more where this came from, and trust me, you won't want to miss the next one.